Hello everybody and welcome back to Coloring with Haley. Today I have a little bit of a different video for you, as you might tell by this setting. What you are looking at right now is my shelf of supplies beside my desk. I thought I would do a video showing you what my whole setup looks like. I tried to do one of these a while ago, but my hands were just too shaky and the video looks a little bit like a roller coaster ride. So, now that I have this nice tripod, I thought I would show off everything. And this shelf right here is actually for shoes, and I've turned it on its side and set it up for all of my coloring books. So up here on the top are all of my Coloring Heaven issues that I like and decided to keep, ones that I have colored in, and I know I've colored in this one. Let's see if I can find a page. There we go. For example, this one I've colored in before. You guys know that on my channel I just did my whole collection of books and the finished pages in them, so if you're interested in seeing all of these, they are on there for sure. They are a little bit tall to actually set in these little cubbies like that, so that's why they are just kind of setting up on the top of the shelf. Unfortunately, they didn't really fit. And when we come down here to these shelves, I'm going to angle you down a little bit. Right here, this section from here to right here is all of my cute books. So the creepy kawaiis there, anything that's anime, manga, chibi. A lot of my Coco Wyo books are here. Here's one called Cute Stuff. And a lot of my colored caramel books are here too. Anything that you could classify as cute or like a little bit of a Japanese theme or aesthetic is all right here. So are a lot of my Chewy Girls books. And then we've got all of my Deborah Muller books, minus her color by number book, because it's my color by number books. So I've got the two Zendoodle books that I've got here. I have the Jog one and the Mermaid Kitties. And then my assortment of Deborah Muller books. There might be one missing because it's on my desk currently, but that is all for those. And then here beside them are all of my Jade Summer books. Mostly grayscale. Back when Jade Summer was releasing books all the time, I told myself I can only buy the grayscale books or I'm going to have all of Jade Summer's books, and I don't need all of them, right? So that ends right here with the kawaii one. And beside that, I have a random assortment of books here. The two books by Tanya Bogima Stolova. There we go. Couldn't get her name out. And other artists that I don't have any duplicates from, so the Zenzu Creative book right there, and this is going to be the Inklings book there. And then on the second half over here, I've got some more of the books that I don't really have any multiples from the artist, so this big honkin' book right here is my only Coloring Cafe book. It's the 100 pages baby animal, so it's got a lot in it. And then my Monster Babes, because my Sci-Fi Babes is on my shelf. And I do have a Hannah Lynn book in here because the other Hannah Lynn book is also on my shelf. And then we've got this tiny little section here for all of the miniatures books by Camelia Angelkova. They all reside in this section here. And then I have my color by number books. So the large print color by number, Deborah Muller's color by number book is right here. I have my Mindware books right here. And then the very last part of this top shelf here is all of my books that aren't Amazon printed. So I have my Mouse Guard book here. I've got Fairy Miracles right over there. I've got the Bob's Burgers coloring book. I've got the Pop Manga coloring book. Anything that's not Amazon printed goes right there. And we'll angle the camera down a little more. Beneath that, I have just a shelf right there that's empty. I plan to keep it open. It's got some memorabilia from a concert on it right now for when I need it. As you can see, the shelves above it are kind of packed tight, so I will probably eventually need this for books. I've left it open. Same with the shelf beside it. As you can see, I've just sat my Mystery Colors magazines right there. You can see the dinosaurs one on top. I just have 4 of them, and that is all. And then at the very bottom, I have an assortment of supplies that I don't use very often. I'll grab some of them and show them. So, for example, I've got the Caran d'Ache Neocolors. For a while, when I was on YouTube, before I started filming my own stuff, I kind of bought a lot of supplies that people were showing off just because everyone else had them. I felt like I needed to have them as well. So that ended up with me having a bunch of supplies that I have never used before, like these Tritone colored pencils here. And I even have some Derwent ink tints. Now, I've used the Derwent ink tints, didn't really like them. So they're kind of supplies that I've just kept down here in a corner, shoved to the side, that I'll probably end up donating at some point. I even have a little single thing of hand pastel in a skin tone down here. Let's see, does it say what color it is? Yes, it's burnt sienna tint. So those are all of my little random supplies down there. And then on the other side are my books that are way too big to put on this shelf. So the Colortronic Animals and the Corkles, these books that are, you know, like extra tall. Let's see, I've done a panda in there. There you go. They're extra tall, and I kind of had to curl them a little bit to even fit them in these cubbies. But that's just where I've got them at. And then at the very bottom, where the camera will really pan down to, on the left, I have all of my decorations for when I film. For example, right now on my desk is this pumpkin. That's where I would keep it, so I just put the lizard and the bird. Then I had up for summer down there. And then at the very bottom is my, like, donation pile of books, I guess is what you might call it. Most of them are Coloring Heaven. Let me grab one. For example, I've got this one down there. This was a Coloring Heaven book that I didn't like. But of course, if you subscribe to the company, then you don't exactly get to pick which books you want. You get all of them. This one was just way too busy for me, and I'm not even sure if I'm holding that picture right. Let me see. Yeah, that goes like that for sure. Way too detailed for me, so I didn't like this issue, but I paid for it and it came in. So these are issues that I will gift, and I've already gifted some out of that pile down there. I've already gifted them to some friends that were looking for a specific Coloring Heaven issue, and I happen to have it and not like it. I mean, they know, what am I going to do with them? I don't want to throw them away. I paid money for them. So instead, I just gift them off to the people who are looking for them. And I probably have 5 or 6 issues down there, it looks like, right now. So if we will turn for a second, I will show you what my desk looks like. And it's a mess, and it's a little corner. Definitely not as nice as some other people's desks, but we will take a look at it. Alright, so this is what my desk looks like from the side that you never ever get to see. First of all, I just have a little pile right here of all of the metallic markers that I'm using right now. So I have that little Divacell set that I bought that I'm not super fond of. I have my Milky Pop ones here too. I use these quite a bit. As well as 2 sets of the Sparkle Pop pens. And I just keep those right there where I can access them easily because I use them a lot, and you'll kind of notice that on my desk. It's the supplies that I use all the time that are up here. So, right here is, I don't know what you want to call this. It's an organizer that I found at Walmart that's for silverware, for your forks and knives and spoons. But I've used it to organize all of my Sharpies and Bic metallic markers. They're in bundles sorted by color type. So here's one with all of my purple markers in it, and they're just tied together with a little rubber band, and that's it. I like having them set up this way because I use those primarily in my color by number books. You guys know I mention that all the time. Oh, I did this book with only Sharpies and Bics. That's the pile that they always come out of. And when I have them right here where I'm setting, I can just turn and see all of them. They're just kind of right there. I know some people keep them in a big tote or a big bag, but when you're setting and coloring, it's easy enough for me to be like, oh, I need orange, and then I can just pull out an orange marker. And because they just rubber banded together, they push right back in. So that's my setup that I've had for years for how I like my Sharpies. In the back, in the very far corner back there, are some little sticker books. And in the front right here, I have some assorted gel pens. These are the white Jelly Roll. I need to try the Uniball. That's what they're called, right? The Uniball Signal white ones. I need to try those. I've tried every other white gel pen, I think, and I keep some extras right there, along with some blender pencils. Despite the fact that I don't use pencils, I still have a bunch of blender pencils. And I also have an eraser for them. So, tons of those, even though I don't really use them. Right here is where I keep my very small tipped markers that I use for the very, very, very tiny, very specific, like, mystery colors books. You know how these have such teeny weeny, teeny tiny little spaces in them. They can be a bit difficult to color with the bigger tip of the regular Sharpies. So that's where I keep my permanent markers that are smaller. And right now I just have the 18 count of Staedtler pens that I got on sale from Ross. And I actually quite like these. They do sell bigger sets. Again, these are just called the 18 double-ended permanent pens. And there are no color names or anything on them. It doesn't really have any information on them, but they are very nice, very thin. I'll open one up. Here is a red one. It's got, just knocked the camera there. It's got this end right here. They're kind of like a felt tip, almost very similar to what's in the Crayola Super Tips. And then it's got like this ultra, ultra thin, if it would focus on it. It doesn't want to focus on it. Ultra, ultra thin, though, bullet tip. So those are really great for coloring the super, super small places, and I use them, again, primarily in the Mystery Colors books. So far, I haven't ever had another color by number that was so thin. And then I've got two boxes. We're not going to say sets, we're going to say boxes of the ultra-fine Bics. And I don't have a full set at all of, this is the 24 count, that's the 26 count back there. Neither of them are full sets. These are just the leftovers of any ultra-fine Bics that I've ever gotten out of any set before, so I know there's no full set of colors in any of these. Many of these have multiple colors in them several times. For example, I know I'm missing the light blue one because I use it the most, but these are just clamshell shaped boxes that are easier to keep them in. You know, if I put them with the regular Sharpies, you can tell a difference. The lid has a small circular dot here when they are the ultra fine rather than the fine tip, but I think I'd be accidentally grabbing them all the time, so I've always kept them in separate little boxes over here. And then if we turn just a little bit, you will see the rest of the stuff here. Alright, so I have some markers down there. That is where I set my empty markers for the month. And there are some books back there, and those are the books that I have colored in for the month. So that's my pile of colored books for this month. I keep them separate just so I know where they're at and I can remember where they are. And I don't want to put them on the floor either. I've got some bags here of supplies. This little bag here contains all my Posca markers. And I bought this little bag at an art store. I'll see if there's a tag in here when I open it. They can tell you the name of it. Yeah, there we go. That says Blue Q bags. You can find them on blueq.com if you're interested in this bag. It's made out of recycled paper. So, this has all of my current Posca pens in there, a lot of white Posca, and a couple of colors. For example, purple is in there. And then I've got a little bit of a bigger bag that's made by a different company. Doesn't look like this one has a name on it. We'll open up and see if there's a name on the inside. There's not a name on the inside of this bag either. So, this is a My Neighbor Totoro bag from Studio Ghibli. I believe that I found this in storage. I decided to bring it out and use it. I would actually like to make it the same type of bag as the little one and the big one. I need to go ahead and buy those and do that. But this contains, I guess I would say, drawing supplies. I definitely don't draw, but I've got a lot of drawing supplies in here from when I used to order one of the art boxes. Let's see. Sketchbox, I think. I used to order because it would sometimes have coloring supplies in it. And so I've got a lot of pins here that are super fine, like micron pins. I know I've got some of those in there. This is what is this? This is a Mono Zero pen that has an eraser on the end by Tombow. You guys know that company. I know my Micron pens are in here somewhere. Let me dig for one. Keep them in here because I use them quite a bit. I know someone was recently talking about using them. Either Jamie or Lauren was talking about using these Micron pens because they got them in a haul recently. And I have a bunch of them for the exact same reason. This 005 tip is a really good one. Let me open it up and show you how small it is. It's not going to focus, I don't think, because it's so tiny. I'm not sure that the camera really will pick it up. Anyways, these are really good for filling in spaces. You ever notice sometimes in a coloring book, it's like maybe it's misprinted a little bit and there should be a line there, but there isn't a line there? Yeah, that's what I use these for. Also for eyes occasionally. You know, like the Coco Wyo Chibi Girl book, their eyes are blank. You can use this to draw their eyes, or to fill in any spaces where it looks like there should be a line and there isn't one. I've done that a lot. The Jade Summer books are guilty of that occasionally. And then this also just has some very fine Micron type pens. And I think Micron's a brand, technically speaking. So we couldn't call these Micron pens, they're graphic liners. But that's where I keep all of them. And again, I don't draw, but I amassed a surprisingly huge amount of them from Sketchbox. So let me zip this bag up and put it back. Okay. And the big bag here that has dogs on it, it says, here to remind you that everything is very exciting. It's the same Blue Q brand of recycled paper bag, and this one holds all of my more expensive brands of markers. So, you can see down in there are a lot of Copics. You hear it rattling, makes a bunch of noise. There's a ton of them in there. And I got most of my Copics on sale at Hobby Lobby a couple of years ago. They were cutting down on their stock of them and they had them very cheap. That's the only reason I have so many Copics. They're definitely like the cream of the crop marker, and I cannot afford a whole set of Copic markers. And I have the Copic sketch here. And I did get a regular old classic Copic one time out of Sketchbox. The super big ones. What color we got here? BOO, Frost Blue. So, and I've got the Copic Chow in here too. Let me see if I can dig around and find one. I see one right there. There we go. There's a little Copic Chow in Tea Rose. And I've got some of the Chameleon markers in here, just one set of these. I believe this was like a flower set or purples or something. I didn't like them. I don't like the chameleon effect that they do. To me, it doesn't work that well. Maybe I need more practice with them. I don't know. I just use these as regular old markers. But the ink in them is a little bit higher quality than, you know, what you get out of your Amazon branded ones. So, and there may be a few, yeah. We've got a Prismacolor marker in here. Maybe my one and only, what is it? Light Cerulean Blue or PB48. And I've got some Winsor and Newton watercolor markers. This is Pale Rose. Just, you know, a bunch of random high-quality markers that I've picked up here and there, and they kind of fill up a big bag. We've got Blick Studio markers. It's kind of like their answer to Copic. If you have a Blick Studio near you, you can buy these in person or online at Blick's website. They're decent. This is Camel? Yeah, Camel. There's their website right there, dickblick.com. Or the store is Blick Art Materials. They're a decent answer to Copics, but definitely not as nice. I picked up a few in person that are skin tone. Like I said, this is 001 Camel. The only Copics that I really try to keep up with and try to keep a full set of is these skin tones, because I will use these on everything all the time. They're the best skin tone markers, so I will go out the money for the set of skin tones to refresh it when I need to, or to buy the refills for the skin tones. This is, if it would focus on it, I think my hands are just so shaky that it doesn't want to focus, YR00 Powder Pink. And again, occasionally I get to go in person to art stores, and when I do, I will buy a Copic marker or two because they're about $7 individually. So I don't buy too many. This is E11 and Barely Beige. But this is my big, huge bag of, like, high-quality artist markers, is what we'll call them. And you can see that back here behind it are my Spectrum Noir markers. So, these right here are the Spectrum Noir markers that you can currently buy at Hobby Lobby. These Spectrum Noir color systems, I have them in lights, and it's still got the Hobby Lobby sticker on them. I always use the coupon to get them 40% off. And you can see I've used some of them so much that they are gone. They're decent markers. I don't hate them. They are the only thing I had for a long time. So I've grown to be pretty fond of them. They are, again, sort of like cheaper Copic. Going to be in between Copic and what you can get on Amazon. And then I've got these very mysterious Spectrum Noir markers that I've never ever gotten an answer for. I got these at Tuesday Morning. If you don't know what Tuesday Morning is, it's sort of like an overstocked goods store. And they had these sets of 24 pieces on sale for very, very cheap. These Spectrum Noir Basics. They don't look like the regular Spectrum Noir marker, and they actually have color names. If you have the Spectrum Noir markers, you know that it's like LG4, and that means light green 4. These have colors such as grass, lime green, pear green, and the body of them is also very different. It's not as square. Very nice and smooth, and there is nothing about these at all on Spectrum Noir's website. I don't know if these were a failed product, maybe they're a retired product. I have no clue. I have never been able to find any information about them other than I bought 2 sets of these at Tuesday Morning a couple of years ago, and I know nothing else about them. They have the same quality as the other Spectrum Noir markers, but again, I can't find anything about them anywhere, so whether they're retired or they were something that Spectrum Noir wanted to do and didn't like, I have no idea. And then if we turn around here, we have what you guys always see when I film, or, well, it's a tighter zoom in on this. I've got my Cali Art markers over here, my poor Cali Art markers that I've had for years in their bag that is very sadly falling apart, as you see. I could try to make it stand up, but it's just going to fall apart. And the zipper on it is even broken, so I can't zip it up. These are the kind of old style of Cali Art markers before they recently kind of rebranded them. The barrel looks more like Ohuhu markers now. I would say I've had these for 2-3 years for sure. And they're still holding up. I think I've lost maybe 1 or 2 colors out of there completely in total. So, good job, Cali Art. Your markers last a really long time. The packaging, however, this poor bag, it did not last. At all. So, here's the newest set of markers that I bought. It's the Tao Tree Art Markers 101 Colors, which is really 100 colors plus a blender. I showed these off on my last haul video. Nice, very thin markers for working in very small spaces, so they'd be good for the color by number books as well. This packaging is probably going to go the way of the Cali Art marker one and fall apart very soon. But at least the zipper on these still works and it hasn't broken on me. And then here we go. These are my favorites. These are my Ohuhu markers. And the Ohuhu markers came with a bunch of stuff, so that stuff is all on the top. It came with 2 swatch cards for the 200 colors, or the 120, right? Yeah, it's the 120, my bad. It came with a little, like, color wheel here, and it's got some information on the inside about the colors if I get it open up. There we go. And about some of their products. I just kept it. And it also came with this very nice plasticky thing that you can put behind your pages so it doesn't bleed. And this is very nice. I'd love to have one of these that's full size that fits a whole page because it's not full size. Let me grab a Amazon book here and show you how big it is compared to the book. Alright, so if I've got 50 Spring Miniatures here by Camellia Angelkova, then this plastic piece kind of barely covers the rabbit in the center. It's not for a full-sized page. If anyone knows what that material is called, and where I can buy a full-sized version of one of those, I would love to, because I do use this. I do have to move it around the page, which doesn't really bother me that much, but I do use it. And then we've got my Ohuhu markers, which are in their box that seem like a luxury box compared to what Cali Art has had, because it actually has some form to it. There's like an insert in here that's holding its shape, that's making it square, rather than the Cali Art bag, which fell apart, so that's awesome. Thanks for doing that, Ohuhu. And yeah, they're just the 120 set of Ohuhu markers that I've started to use more in place of my CaliArts. It's even got a nice little strap on it so you could take it anywhere you want to. Those are my Ohuhu markers. Definitely my favorite out of the Amazon markers so far. But I will say that that is an older set of the markers. And I know some people are saying that the newer Ohuhu markers are starting to yellow. So we'll have to see if that was like a bad batch of ink or if they've changed the ink and now they're all going to yellow. We've got to find out before I buy a second set when those go out. So this has been just a little tour of my filming space and my desk where I do all of my colored pages at. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Thank you so much.